Hey, welcome to Picky Pat. Nice to have you watching. We move on to wiring, more wiring. While we're waiting for things to arrive to make this work, working on the mini wiring for all the lights. We know they all kind of work, but it was all a bit sort of hashed up. So while we've got the front end clipped on with some Jubilees and some clips and screws, pop the lights on, and we need to work out a loom that will take a plug here somewhere or over there to run all the lighting. So that's the plan, the master plan. And originally I was going to take all the wiring in that direction. Still might, not sure yet. I need to keep it out of the way of what's going on down here. Not sure what's going on down there. So we'll put the lights in place and have a little think. I don't know, gonna make up some stuff now, make up tea. Alright, well, I'm tearing my hair out over here with the engine that wants to stop but not run on another episode. I get on with other things I can get on with. So some nice stainless, what I call button top bolts arrived with their washers today. And my intention was, I think most people just screw the lights on the front into the body. The same with the arches, and that is something I do not want to do. I guess it works, of course it works, but I really don't want to do that if I can help it. So my plan is, man, there's so many little dings and dents on these. My plan, well, you could just use these, they would work, was riv nuts. I tried them in a couple of different locations on these, but it doesn't hold them flush. Don't like the look of that. So we're going to come up with a different solution for that. I think we're going to weld in some M4 nuts behind and then use the same bolts. On here though, we've used some aluminium riv nuts, M4. We just had to remount the hole a little tiny bit, put a bit of nail varnish, old nail varnish in there, and then put those in, and that looks pretty tidy. I'm quite happy with that. It's out the way, it's easy to get in and out, you don't damage the headlight with a screwdriver and stuff to get it in and out, and it holds it while I'm moving the car with it. So I'll just show you what I basically did on the other side in a second now. Then what we'll do down here, we have 3 existing holes that go through the rubber, and there's 3 little slots. So I think we normally screw them in, but what we'll do is weld the nuts behind, and then we can use the same bolts these little stainless ones, and bolted on really nicely. And then we're not damaging the paintwork or introducing a potential rust spot, which these rust automatically already. So let's not encourage it, shall we? No, let's not. Okay. On to these, whenever the nuts arrive. Until my box of connectors arrive, it's kind of as far as we can go. I'm going to put a little connector on the back here, and then it'll run along here, and there'll be a couple of connectors that will sit just behind here, probably on the support that runs down, with some little tabs running up into that corner. And then we'll have a similar plug system for these as well. So we'll have a couple of plugs there. That'll disconnect the front end, hopefully with one plug. What I'll do is I'll actually put some plugs on these so that you could remove the wire and loom all separately, but we'll take them into the loom and then put one major plug that if you want to get the front end off, you have to just take one plug off. That's the plan. But obviously if you wanted to remove these at some point, you don't really want to have to cut wires. So I want to make it as neat and tidy and as sort of maintenance free as possible. So we'll just wait for some of those to come along, but that's our wiring from the other side, and that'll come up behind. We're going to keep that out of the way of this because we're going to have fresh airflow ducting in there up towards our intercooler. So lots of so's. Next job, fix the grinder and make a bunch of little tabs. Try and show you what they look like on the minis. These are very simple tabs. A bunch of those, and I'll make a bunch of those strips, and I can use them in two ways. You can either weld a tab on like that and then they just sort of squish over the loom, which is quite handy, or you weld them on both ends and then you've got a little something to put a cable tie on. The loom can sit on top of it, whichever way around you wish. So I'm just going to fix my grinder, and then I'll make a bunch of these. They're sort of 50mm by 10mm. Just cut them all up, and then in the boot I need to put some in, and I'll make a little box of them ready to use in lots of different places for all different things. Very simple way to tab your loom together onto some metalwork. So that's what we'll do. While we're allowing the nuts here to cool down, which we welded in for the indicators, we just made up some brackets to support this, because the sort of lower valance does kind of want to twist here, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld them onto the lower piece, both sides, put the flip front back in, bolt it in, and then with the holes we've drilled through, we can weld it in place. If I weld it here, it's pretty likely that I'm going to weld it and twist it as I do into a position I don't want it, and then nothing will fit. The final thing I'm going to clean up for doing is putting a little bit of a plug tab, one of these, on here, somewhere like, I don't know, somewhere like that, so we can plug in the indicators onto the loom, which is heading in that direction, which is all part of this loom. So I'll work out where I want those, one either side, and we'll go from there. Yeah, go from there. That's it for the wire at the front at the moment. Just seeing plug for this headlight, a couple of plugs on for the indicators so we can remove them easily just on a simple plug. But until we've put holes in the wings for the side repeaters, that's it for the front wiring loom for now. We've also put these braces on, and I'm finally getting the welder dialed in, so quite pleased about that. And we also put a little brace in just behind there. You can see that where we've cut some out, and those diagonals are in as well now. So that's all good. M4 bolts, 3 of them holding the indicators on. So front end's coming together nicely now. We're going to now start laying out the loom to work out where we put things like horns, plugs here. We're going to put a plug somewhere here to connect to this, and the washer bottle. Just while we're waiting on other things, these things are needed, so we'll get on with them pretty soon. We need to make sure the indicators are working as they weren't before, and the wipers, again, they had a fault, so we'll try and fix them now while we're waiting for other things to happen for the engine bay. So let's get on with that. Alright, so we needed some way of bringing the wiring through the bulkhead and having the bulkhead connection. We wanted it a bit more reliable, not just wires through a grommet. So I've come up with these, and these will be the pins for wipers, washer, brake fluid reservoir, horn, and there was one other thing, can't remember what it was now. It'll come to me. So this is going to go basically tuck under there somewhere. Got one for the other side, so we went from this sort of concept to, we don't want it to square on the bulkhead because it will poke up. I wanted it level basically. So concept was this. That's my flying concept. And then we made a cutout, cardboard aided cutout of it, which is just about right, allowing a little change in shape because of the way the flange runs along the bottom of the bulkhead. Then we made it out of some sheet steel, and we welded it in. Banged a hole in it, and there's our plug this side, and that's for the lights circuit. So let's repeat the other side. I'll show you what it looks like before I've welded it on and where we're going to fit it. So there's the piece of steel, our flying concept, cut out. Now we'll cut a hole in it and bend it. And there it is, cut out and shaped, and a hole drilled ready. 18.5mm hole. Nice little edge to the hole as well. We'll put a little O-ring on it when we actually fit the wiring. So then we're just going to squeeze that up into a vise, weld along the seams and clean those up. And we'll have a part to fit, or weld. And there we have it all welded up and linished, I think is the official term. Cleaned up the edges ready for welding. So I think this might need a little bit of trimming to get it just at a slightly different angle to get round the wiper motor. So we're just going to go and take a look at that now. I'm holding it like this because it's blooming hot. So they're both in. The one is a lot prettier than the other. That one is not very pretty. They're much thinner, just kept blowing on the bulkhead. This one I'm quite pleased with. Looks nice and tidy, and a little bit of just finishing with the grinding to the right side where I blanked a hole we don't need. Obviously in some paint and a lot of paint. It'll look fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the cable now from there. So we have our 1 point, we have our plug on our flip front, and we have our little spot here for the receiver. So we just need a loom that runs up there and over there, like that. So, loom! And there it is! Just temporarily held on with a piece of wire. Handy things for just marking things up. So we'll probably just put a couple of little looped connectors just onto there, just to hold the wire in nice and neat, and obviously stop it just rubbing round and moving. And even at 10 o'clock at night, a train comes. Amazing. Just amazing. I haven't filmed for an hour, and now a train comes. Thanks for that. Anyway, there's the loom. So that'll plug into the front flip front, and then goes into the bulkhead. Simple as you like. And we'll put a couple of O-rings on that just to seal it nicely. It's out the way of everything, and then boost pipes coming over here and the intake over the top of that. Hinge going in on there. So that's fine and dandy. It's the bit we didn't need. So that goes in the pile of wires for later. So now we need to repeat the other side. We've got more wires to go on that one, but we need to repeat it that side because there's more stuff going on. We'll get to that another day. It's dark, or almost dark, and it is summer, so that tells you how late it is. So let's push this out of the way and celebrate our wedding anniversary tomorrow, me and Mrs. Piggy. It's been 12 years, so thumbs up for that. Thanks very much for watching. We're going to have a few days off. See ya!